10 seconds.
Now it looks as though they are beginning to advance on the starting tapes towards the top of Rose Hill. So walking in, stand by for a start. Starters Kieran O'Shea and Willie Jardine ready for them. They're off. Jumping away for the Bet365 Mares handicap hurdle. They run downhill for the first 100 yards or so of their 3-mile journey. And Do You Feel Lucky? And Dave Noonan, the striped cap, first ones to show up. To Midnight Mary in the green and yellow close to the rail. Well supported favourite Rock On Rita's also in the green and yellow. The JP McManus Hoops white cap in 4th place. Misty Bloom in the dark blue and white is just ahead of her as they rise for the first time. Shantou Sunset in an orange and green jacket disputing last place with Jersey Lady, who sports the sheepskin noseband. Tom Bellamy aboard the yellow cap with the dark green star. Jump a total of 11 flights on their 3-mile journey here. It's quite a long run between flights 1 and 2. The second is the first of them up the home straight. And when they reach it, they'll have covered more than half a mile. Do You Feel Lucky? Leading to Midnight Mary, racing on the inner of Misty Bloom. And then Rock On Rita to Shantou Sunset under Mihal Nolan. Shantou Sunset in the first time blinkers, last but one, and Jersey Lady held up by Tom Bellamy. Turning into the straight then and passing through the 2.5-mile starting point. Do You Feel Lucky with an uncontested early lead, tracked by Misty Bloom and Jack Wildman in the dark blue and white in second. Midnight Mary, Kieran Gething straightening in third, ahead of Rock On Rita, the white cap for Alan Corley, the hoop jacket. And then Shantou Sunset on the extreme left, and finally Jersey Lady, and they were all safely over that flight. So on now towards the middle one, up the straight first time. Do You Feel Lucky? From Misty Bloom, still a couple of lengths between them. Midnight Mary jumping soundly in third, ahead of Rock On Rita, Shantou Sunset, and she in turn is tracked by Jersey Lady. Inside the last 2 miles now, I'm drawing towards the 4th, preparing to rise. And Jersey Lady just left a trailing leg in the flight at the back of the field, following on in the slipstream of Shantou Sunset as they prepare to embark upon one further circuit of the Townmoor Hurdles track. Not yet at the halfway point, and they're about to head pretty close to the St Leger start on the flat course. Do You Feel Lucky? Dictating to Misty Bloom, and then Midnight Mary against the rail, tracked by Rock On Rita. Shantou Sunset orange jacket last but one, and Jersey Lady a couple lengths further back. So heading on towards the 3 flights of hurdles, taken on the run towards the highest point of the track. Do You Feel Lucky? Has made all so far, and has been pretty much allowed to do it on her own terms. She was a little close to that one, but was neat enough. Ahead of Misty Bloom in the dark blue and white. Midnight Mary, the green sleeves with the yellow armlets. Stepped at that, half kicked it to the ground. Rock On Rita in the noseband has been pulled out a little wider to make a significant move. Shantou Sunset still weighted with, and Jersey Lady in last position as she has been throughout. But the half dozen are covered by only 5 lengths as they take the last in the line on this section of course. And that was 5 from home, and Shantou Sunset was bustled away from the landing side, and they now meet rising ground once more. On the ascent, Do You Feel Lucky? With Rock On Rita on the outer, taken up to dispute second with Misty Bloom, and Midnight Mary, who's closest to the rail. And again, Shantou Sunset is gently chivied along in 5th place. And on the descent, Jersey Lady sits right on her tail, remaining last of the half dozen. At this stage, it's Shantou Sunset who's making the hardest work of it. And they're running now towards 4 out, with still well over 3/4 of a mile to travel. Do You Feel Lucky? Made every inch so far. Misty Bloom has always been close up. Rock on Rita wide in the noseband. Midnight Mary on the inner. Jersey Lady makes a place, and the driven along Shantou Sunset is last of all. Beginning this long sweeping left-hander back towards the last half mile, and the final three flights of this Bet365 Mares Handicap Hurdle, and the gallop, which has been pretty sedate, is just beginning to unwind a little as Do You Feel Lucky and Dave Noonan stack them up. Almost a line of three in behind. Misty Bloom in the centre of that line is being driven along. Midnight Mary still there on the inner. Rock on Rita poised on the outer, and right on their tails Jersey Lady in the sheepskin noseband, although still only fifth. There's only 3 lengths off the lead. There's only Shantou Sunset who's seemingly out of it at this stage, as Do You Feel Lucky swings back towards home to face the third last, and she's asked to kick off the turn as well. Do You Feel Lucky? She opens up by 3 lengths. Reminders for Misty Bloom. Midnight Mary on the far side under a drive. Jersey Lady now threading her way through the field. Rock on Rita on the extreme left is back to 5th. Do You Feel Lucky over 3 out by a couple of lengths. There's still a lot of galloping to be done. They're only just inside the last half mile. Misty Bloom in the dark blue and white is responding to pressure. Midnight Mary towards the far side. Jersey Lady back in 4th. Her effort mustering only 1 pace at the moment, but the leader was untidy there. Do You Feel Lucky? And Misty Bloom is right alongside and now forges on into the lead towards the left. Jersey Lady continues to plug on. Midnight Mary is snapping at their heels. They've still got over a furlong and a half to go. 1 to jump. Could be a slow motion finish, this one. The final flight. Misty Bloom kicked it half flat. Untidy Do You Feel Lucky? Midnight Mary in the green and yellow going up between them. Jersey Lady back in 4th. 200 yards to cover. Misty Bloom. Midnight Mary on the far side throwing down a stern challenge. Wearing down Misty Bloom. Midnight Mary beginning to get up under a strong